Hello and welcome to the United Stand. This is your top 5 Manchester United players you'd like to see sold in January. And I've got to say straight away, there's some shocking names in this top 5, but it's voted for by you. Let's get on with it. I'll be passing my comments as we go through the list. In at number 5, probably not a surprise, Phil Jones. Now I know a few of you are wanting to give him a second chance. He started playing. He's definitely a player who's all heart, isn't he? But I've heard that Carrington, Mourinho wants to pump a lot of money in there to improve the injury record, and they're actually going to open up a new wing for people recovering from serious injury, and apparently they're going to call it the Phil Jones Rehabilitation Centre. I joke, but that is the problem with Phil Jones, isn't it? You know, whether he can play 3 games in a row is debatable. He's always going to pick up injuries very seriously. He's had shin splints. I had that younger. I know some people do recover from it, but it tends to mean you pick up a lot of injuries. And he gets a lot of injuries anyway. They may as well call him Band-Aid. And I'm not talking about the Christmas song that we're all going to start hearing very, very soon. He's injury prone. I don't really think he's that good either. And in at number 5 doesn't surprise me. In at number 4 slightly does, Memphis Depay. The great thing about football, I think the great thing about Manchester United is there is always dividers, isn't there? There's players that divide opinion. Some people think Jesse Lingard's just a fanboy taking photos with his favourite players and isn't good enough for United. Some people see him as a United youth product who can be good enough and they want him to succeed. No problems with that. But in relation to Memphis, I think a lot of people are tired and fed up with him. Number 7 for Manchester United. For me, it's the most iconic shirt in world football, and I think he's totally wasted that opportunity. I know some of you say he needs a run of games. Well, he doesn't deserve a run of games. It's what you do in training that gets you that run of games. He's obviously not doing enough. And as I said on Sunday night, Mata and Herrera totally misused by Van Gaal for 2 years. They've got a new manager and they've shown what you can do with hard work, and they forced their way into the team. There's no excuses for Memphis. Probably a loan deal. Let's just make sure that there is no potential that he can actually do something in this league. But not surprised. Well, I am surprised, but I think there's other players I'd have got rid of first. But he is your number 4. Number 3, and it is a left back. It's not Luke Shaw. Don't worry, you can all stop panicking. I think he, as Paul Scholes says, he will be one of the best left backs in world football. If Jose can just start building his confidence up a bit, I think we've. What am I talking about, Luke Shaw? Marcus Rojo is the number 3. The interesting thing is, like Phil Jones, he is in Mourinho's plans at the moment, but he would be one of those players that you wanted to get rid of. You always get thrown silly arguments like, well, he played in the World Cup final for Argentina. They didn't win it. Whether he plays for Argentina or not doesn't move past the fact that he's just not good enough for Manchester United. For those people who watch football, which I'm sure a lot of you do, he's got 2 really bad traits. One of them, he stands off players and they'll shoot and score like they have done. Or 2 of them, he jumps in and they nip past him and leave him on his like a banana, well skinned. He doesn't know how to defend. He's at fault for a lot of goals. He's terrible on crosses as well. A lot of goals last season conceded because of him on crosses. His one positive is he's got quite a good left foot. But Shaw and Blind are better left backs. I'd get rid of him. I think he's only playing at the moment because of, again, injury problems. Not a United player for me. So you're voting him in at number 3. I'll be happy with that. Here we go then. Take a deep breath. Let me get a bulletproof vest on as well. In at number 2. I'm quite surprised myself. Wayne Rooney. Woo! Oh, my neck. The tomatoes are being thrown. Remember, this isn't my choice. This is what you've all voted across Facebook, Twitter and the website. Wayne Rooney got the most votes to be sold in January, or the second most votes. He's in at number 2. Wow, where do you start on this? I think when it comes to Rooney, I'll always defend him as a United legend. I think he's done great things at Manchester United. So's Sir Bobby Charlton, so's Ryan Giggs. I wouldn't have them playing for Manchester United now. I think Rooney's time at Manchester United has come to an end. I think as a sub, yeah, maybe. I know he played against left midfield for Swansea and everyone said, oh, he's back. You'd surely play Martial every day of the week, even probably Memphis ahead of Rooney on the left side of midfield. Just feels like we're trying to shoehorn a player in who is so obviously on the decline, and as a captain, as I keep saying, could not lead a pack of ants to a picnic. He is not a leader. He is on the decline. It's sad to say, but I think somebody somewhere needs to stand up and make a decision about this. He won't be sold in January, by the way. I don't think he'll even be sold in the summer. But he cannot be playing games for Manchester United anymore. And just for those people who think he is back, did you see him against Scotland for England? I mean, if you ever need... We've said this so many times about Rooney. There's been so many opportunities where you shouldn't need to be motivated. So I don't think it's motivation from him. I don't think he's not trying. I certainly wouldn't level that at him. I think it's just a massive decline in ability. But he's your number 2. You would sell him. Surprises, surprises. I'm sure you know who's going to be number one. It's so obvious. You know what? Should we even bother? It's so obvious who number one's going to be. You've guessed it. Juan Mata. An absolute landslide. Juan Mata, you want him to be... I'm only joking. It's obviously the tree. It's Maro and Fellaini. Over 90% of Manchester United fans want him sold. He didn't quite get 90% in this vote, but he was unanimously the number one. As a human being, you've got to feel sorry for him, even though he's on hundreds of thousands of pounds every month. But you know, this isn't about who you like. This isn't about whether you want to go and have a drink with them in the pub or anything like that. This is about putting Manchester United first, and that means Manchester United first in the Premier League, winning titles. Fellaini wouldn't be even, you know, Sir Alex wouldn't even have had him as a steward or sweeping up the car park. He wouldn't be anywhere near at Old Trafford. Just not a Manchester United player. A legacy of Moyes. Surprises me how many managers have used him though. Van Gaal always wanted to pick him. He keeps turning up again like a bad smell, like a fart in a lift. Under Mourinho, he keeps picking him. It amazes me that Manchester United fans, the vast majority, would not have him anywhere near the team. Yet these managers who get paid a lot of money and have got a good history do keep picking him. There's no doubt as a positive he is all heart, like some of the other players in this thing. But all heart, surely if you wear the badge of Manchester United, that is a given that you're going to be all heart and effort. You've got to have the ability. He hasn't got the ability. For a tall man, he's not that good in the air. And I tell you what, you take that away from him, the only thing he's got is Pamela Anderson. He's got a great chest, but his ball control is poor, his passing range is poor, his shooting's poor, he's slower than a tortoise going backwards. He needs to be sold. The reality is, and what we're hearing is, he's going to get a new contract. So I applaud you for your top five. A few shocks in there. I probably wouldn't have put Rooney in there personally. I probably wouldn't have put Memphis in there personally. There's a couple of others I'd get rid of, not because I don't like them. I probably would have put Ashley Young in there because I don't see what his use is anymore. And as just to throw another name out there, I'd probably put Schneiderlin in there because I don't see what his use is anymore. But there we go. That's my personal thought. It is your channel. That's your top five. Phil Jones at 5, Memphis at 4. Rojo 3, Rooney 2, Fellaini 1. Do I think any of them will be sold in January? Not a prayer. I think others will go. I don't think any of those will go. It just goes to show though, doesn't it? You know, why should they listen to fans? You know, why should they listen to fans? I'll tell you why they should listen to fans. Because we've been watching Manchester United year in, year out. We wouldn't be picking these players, any of them in our first 11. But these managers come in, new, they see what's going on behind the closed door, and they obviously go for effort, don't they? But the reality is, whether they're all effort or not, sell them and get players who are effort and can play. I think that's the problem with Manchester United. You can pick a top five, people can moan about it and say it's personal, but the reality is, as a squad, none of them, well, you probably wouldn't get past one hand of players that are, you know, good enough and putting in, you know, playing to their maximum. And I think that's the problem with the squad. Two previous managers who were very, very bad and bought badly have left as a squad riddled with mediocre, lazy players. So, you know what, if it was FIFA, you'd probably get rid of 15 and buy 15 in, and I think that's what he's going to have to do over the next few years. But whether he'll get rid of any in January, he didn't in the summer, we'll have to wait and see. That's your top five. Get commenting below, give us your thoughts, and hopefully tomorrow night for the Arsenal preview live at 8:30, I'll be joined by Stan Collymore. Drop us a like, get involved, give us your comments, and thanks everyone for voting. It was your top five.